everybody. I'm Joe Gallimore, Director of Investment Management with Argent Bridge Advisors, and welcome to our July installment of Cup of Joe. So we are now halfway through 2024, and the returns for asset classes are very much spread all the way across the spectrum. So far this year, large cap US stocks, they are leading the way, but that's only because of the performance of few of the largest names. Emerging market stocks also saw a strong rally in the second quarter, and those now sit in a distant second place to large cap US. And we also saw a nice recovery from bonds, specifically in the month of June, and those are now close to level on the year, but now they're producing much more substantial income, as we've seen with the rise of interest rates over the last year and a half or so. So with asset class returns kind of all over the place this year, I thought that this period is shaping up as a great illustration for one of the most basic investing principles we know, diversification. So this month's Cup of Joe, I wanted to just simply focus on a review of why we diversify. So the first reason is because it is effectively impossible to consistently predict of what is going to perform the best. You know, the factors that drive performance are constantly flip-flopping, and they follow no set schedule or defined period of time. And I'm going to share a chart here that I know many of you have seen before. This is a chart illustrating different asset classes and their performance year to year. And what you notice is that different asset classes take turns leading performance. So if you want to capture pockets of strong performance from all these various asset classes, you have to have your investments spread out. But back to this year as an illustration, the S&P 500 is leading the way once again, but not because of why everyone thought it would. The S&P and NASDAQ are leading the way only because of a few stocks. You know, coming off last year, no one would have reasonably predicted that NVIDIA was going to have a second gangbuster year in a row, because as we know, trees don't grow to the sky. And after being in the back of the pack for a few years, emerging markets is once again having a period of strong performance. And by looking at this chart, you would have expected to see this at some point. So high, lower, 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 you would have expected it to see high, but it's very difficult to know when that's going to happen. So staying diversified helps you capture all these rallies. Now, the second reason we diversify is because diversification works. You see this white square kind of running through the middle of the chart. That is a diversified portfolio. That's a portfolio which includes a percentage of each of these different colored asset classes. Now, by definition, it's never going to be the best performer, but it's also never the worst performer. If you look over here on the left, the average annual return has it in the top half, so it's doing better than average. And the second column is the volatility, and that's down towards the bottom. So it's getting you better than average performance with lower volatility than any of these asset classes. So over time, asset allocation works, even though sometimes it may not feel like it's working. Now, the third reason we diversify is because it controls risks. Bonds are historically way less volatile than stocks. You see that here versus all these other stock asset classes. And even some equity asset classes are more volatile than others. Small caps versus large caps, for example. So by including different amounts of each asset class, we end up with a level of expected portfolio volatility that is appropriate for your individual situation and a level of volatility that you are able to handle both financially and emotionally. You know, if your life savings is $1 million, you know, you can handle a 5 or 10% fluctuation and be able to float that until the returns come back. But if it's concentrated in something that then goes down 50%, that could drastically affect your long-term outcome. So that's diversification, a nice reminder, because in today's environment, it's very tough to tell what's going to rally and when, or even what's going to experience sharp declines, as we've heard a lot of talk about how the market may be expensive, the economy might be slowing down. So being diversified is what keeps your portfolio durable through all these unexpected turns. Many years ago, a very smart economist called diversification the only free lunch in town. And I love that analogy because it highlights the simplicity and the effectiveness of this investing principle. So that does it for this month's Cup of Joe. If you have any questions about this or anything else you've heard or read or are thinking about, please reach out to anyone at Argent Bridge and we will happily get you clarity. Thank you. Take care.